And now, back to the action with round number 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Combat Sports Live. Round number 4. Well, we've got Matt Mitrione calling in from his gym, talking a little bit about his training camp and his fight with Kimbo Slice. So we're going to dive right back into it. What were your thoughts when you got the call that this was your next fight?
Well, my manager is Brian Butler from Sucker Punch Entertainment. And Brian called me up and said that, hey, I've got a really big fight offer for you. And he didn't tell me exactly who it was at first. He's like, well, you ready for this? Great opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And he said, he told me Kimbo, and my answer was, yes, absolutely. I couldn't say yes fast enough. That is, I think as we all saw, it was pretty much a tailor-made fight for me. I couldn't have asked for anything better. So now I was fighting for Jeremy Kimbo. It's a huge name, brings a ton of attention to the sport and to the individual that he's fighting. But I was really excited to get down here. It was a great chance.
You making the transition from the show to a working professional career in the octagon. What is your training schedule? You're fighting 2, maybe 3 times a year?
Yeah, 2 or 3 times a year, but I wouldn't mind doing more than that. I don't need to fight every 4 months. I wouldn't mind fighting every 3. And assuming that the UFC, deems it appropriate, deems it I'm good enough, and they have enough people that they want me to fight. I'd love to be on the card. I love getting paychecks.
Jumping back onto the Kimbo fight, what I saw was the what I would say is the difference between professional mixed martial arts, and everybody's made this comparison to Kimbo, and they've been hard on him. YouTube backyard brawler, gets into mixed martial arts, but you can't deny that when you see a fight like your fight with him, when you were chopping away at those legs, the difference between being the toughest guy on YouTube and being in the octagon. Would you agree with that?
What are we doing on Kimbo, man? I dig him. I think he's a cool fella, and I respect the fact he's paying his bills. But yeah, I would think that I I got after Kimbo pretty solidly, and I went for a series of submissions, and I threw some leg kicks, I threw some hands. When he took me down, I was very comfortable down there, and jumping into submission attempt after submission attempt, and I think I had a variety of different movements in there, or locks,
Mm-hmm.
So, it kind of is what it is, but I think that it made MMA look better than what a lot of people thought it was. It's not just people just throwing hands, and you can't just take the tough guy sit on the bar stool and throw into a cage, and he'll be all right.
With that win, that was that definitely solidifies your place as a draw for the fans. I think you won a lot of hearts and minds of the fans that were out there that may have not been familiar with you. Of course, they saw you on the show, and we've talked in the past a little bit about that. The impression that was left with the American people might have been somewhat disjointed. Moving into this fight, I think that you did a spectacular job. And what do you have on the horizon for your future? Have you had any thoughts on who's next?
No, I don't, actually. I don't have thoughts on who's next. I know that I'm only 2-0 as a pro. I don't have very much experience. I've only had 3 fights, really, other than two fights that were on the show. So I've only had a total of 5 fights in my life. So I'm developing. I'm still very green. I'm still learning a lot, as was evident by me missing and not completing my submission attempts. And that's pretty much unacceptable to have 4 or 5 submission attempts in one fight, locked in, and not finished. I mean, that's unacceptable. I think it's better talent. That probably would have been a loss for me. So that's something that I need to understand and develop on. So it kind of depends on the UFC for them to say, hey, Matt, I think this is where you are. I think this is your level here. And I say, okay, all right. I thought I was, either right there, or I thought I was going to be, or I thought I was going to be developing a little bit longer before I got there. But I'm glad you guys think that I'm in that situation. So kind of all depends on how they feel about me.
Well, whatever the case, I think that the future is bright for you. I know it's got to be a lot of pressure being 2-0 as a professional and being in the UFC just in general. It's got a high level of pressure. How do you deal with it? How do you unwind from the day? How do you enjoy your off time?
I play with my kids. That's what I do. I don't want to get that stressed. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if I get stressed out, I just kind of go play with my little boys. I got a 4.5-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Whatever you're doing, it must be working, because I can tell you that you probably are one of the most relaxed people that I've ever seen stepping into the cage.
Thanks, man. It's funny. I didn't realize that I was, smiling and I guess giddy like I was. But it's fun to me. Getting out there and competing is a great time to me, and it's the ultimate test. So yeah, I enjoy it, and I'm glad to see it's evident. I'm glad to see people notice that I have fun out there.
Definitely, and that was one thing that I noticed when I was watching you fight. I was like, this guy's just, he's just having a lot of fun out there. You're trading with Kimbo, he's got you up against the cage, and you just got this huge grin on your face, and it just, the impression that I had was like, this guy's just having fun.
Yeah, and practices that Pat and I put ourselves through, and actually that's one thing I'm really happy about, is that I think I learned from football that if you take it easy in preparation, you will lose. So I don't allow myself to take it easy in situations like that. So if there is going to be a practice, then Pat and I are going to fight. We don't spar, we don't drill. That's the way I practice. I let them fly. I expect you to let them fly, punch me, kick me, take me down, submit me. I don't ever want to have an ego where I can't work as hard as possible in practice. But by the time I get to a fight, it can't be any worse than practice was. So let's just let them fly, baby. I'm in there, when I'm working, when I was in that fight against Kimbo, I was singing the Grateful Dead. The whole time in my head, I was singing a song called Unbroken Chain by the Dead.
That's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, it's rhythm. It's just rhythm. So I can feel where I'm at. I see it. So if I'm throwing too many punches and kicks in the same stanza, then I know that, hey, catch your breath, slow down. You're out of rhythm here. So that's kind of my way of gauging myself.
Well, fantastic. Well, it definitely worked for you. It's great talking with you, Matt. I really appreciate you taking time, calling in to Combat Sports Live to tell us about your fight. You talked a little bit about Pat Barry. It's great to see all these great heavyweights that are developing. You being definitely, at the top of the list. I'm sure that we'll be seeing you again in the next few months with another great fight. So appreciate your time, man, and catch up with you another time.
Sounds great, brother. Hey, thanks a lot for the interest. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
My pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with round number 5 of Combat Sports Live.